normally I'm Zooming, but today I didn't Zoom, I flew. I flew from Cape Town to Vienna, and today I've got the real pleasure of being in these beautiful offices of Friedreich Hospitality, and I've got the owner, the founder, the chief executive, whatever the titles might be, of Friedreich Hospitality, Christine Friedreich with me. Hello, Christine.
Hello, Niels. Welcome in Vienna.
Thank
Great
you.
having you.
And it's sunny, Thank you so much for having me. It really is great to be here. Friedreich Hospitality. You have got there the headline which says hospitality. No, what does it say?
It's all about hospitality.
It's all about hospitality. That's what it is. It's all about hospitality. So tell us a bit more about Friedreich Hospitality. What's it all about?
So we're celebrating 10 years this year, and we actually have our roots in the tourism and in the event industry. So our main idea and starting point was to bring the hospitality we know from tourism, from traveling, from all the hospitality industry actually to other businesses. So all the warmth, the well-being, the atmosphere and everything, what you experience when you travel, when you arrive in a hotel, when you arrive in a restaurant, to bring this into other industries when you come to a company, to the entrance, to build nice offices like I tried to build here for my team.
You managed very well.
Thank you.
So is that what you mean when you say the customer, our guest?
Yes, for us the customer or the guest is not only the customer, it's also the employees. And this is what I think brought a shift also in the last years, that the guest starts from the employee experience through the guest and also the partners. So whenever you have a partnership in business, this is also somebody where you have to serve them and treat them as a guest.
So it really is that hospitality aspect that we learned in the hotels, that you transfer that into other businesses.
Exactly.
I mean, it's a known fact that many institutions, banks and insurances and whatever you pick out of hotel school, their next employees. And that leads me immediately to the next question. In hospitality in particular, past COVID, if we are past COVID, which I don't believe we are, but when many people were let go, we find it difficult now to bring people back into the industry. What is it that we need to do to bring them back and to reignite that fire that you and I felt, different generations, but that you and I felt when we joined the industry? I still get buzz out of making a client, a guest happy,
yeah.
And seeing that they come back for more. That is a buzz that we feel, the electricity and whatever. How can we transfer that onto the new generation that we need to have in our hotels and other businesses?
I think there are several aspects. First of all, I wanted to refer to what you said about banks, insurance companies, and so on. So for me, Steve Jobs was a real role model here, as he started this, that all Apple shops were managed by people from the hospitality industry. And second, coming to how to bring, I think if you have this fire, if you ever worked in the tourism industry, if you ever worked in a hotel, if you get this smile and back from a guest when you were able to serve them, to show them love and service, I think this is something what is still relevant. I think at some point media were destroying this fact and this passion. So for me, and that's why I love to teach, I love to work with young people, to go into schools, universities and hold speeches, because you can enlight the fire with young people, and there is still the fire. So I think we just have to keep the conversation and to teach them that this is actually the greatest job you have, and this is all what is leadership also about. It's to serve people, and the basic of the hospitality industry and working in this industry is to serve people. And this is what we all love. We love to give. This is this comes from the bottom of our heart, and this starts as a child. And we just have to come back to our strength and to feel this. So I think we should just be role models instead of always complaining about what is bad and what is hard and what's going wrong. We have to show the positive examples more, bring them to the front.
And as you said, to make sure that that love and that care starts with your employees, because they need to smile at the end of the day, they need to deliver to the guests, which sometimes or who sometimes can also be difficult. Let's face it as well. Not every guest is lovely. Not every guest is nice. We want to turn them into nice people and do that.
And if I may add something here to what you said about treat the employees as a guest. Of course, there were some shortfalls in the past generations and years that especially people sometimes from abroad, from other countries, were not treated the way they should have been treated as guests. So they were just like workers to deliver something. So of course there is a shift from the leader's side also needed, that all employees are treated the way, because only if you have the good employee experience you can deliver a good guest experience.
And that, I think, comes to my next point, where payment. What are people paid in the industry? What does it cost from an organization point of view? How much does it cost me to have X amount of employees? Which some people have, or many hotels have started to look towards digitalization. Is digitalization in the way of good service, or does it help good service? Where do you see it? Because I've got my own opinion, and I'll share it in a minute. But I think there are two schools of thought. One is like sort of, let's rationalize away as much as we possibly can, and the other one is enhance. How do you see it?
My opinion is, and I'm curious of course about yours, my opinion is that digitalization definitely helps to improve the service. We can know our guests better, we can serve them better, we can be more focused on what are their requirements, where have they been, where did we have recent touch points with the guests. So I think digitalization can also in the kitchen, I think there's so many jobs which can be handled where staff or a real person can be replaced, so that real people with passion can care about their guests. So I think it's a benefit. And this is also something which is presented from my point of view in some ways I wouldn't say in a wrong way, but this could be presented in a better way, that we say, okay, digitalization helps us to focus on the guest, on the person, on the people.
Yeah, no, I agree fully. I was a secrétaire de la réception in Paris many years ago. And whilst I enjoyed the guest interaction, the actual job that I didn't enjoy. Now that is something where I feel the receptionist, for example, the clerical tasks that are being done can all be done much better, much more smoothly, much more accurately by a machine and machine learning. Be it the check-in, the check-out. When you go to a hotel, have you been with us before? For crying out loud, I've been with you 20 times and you still don't know because your guest history isn't up to date. If you have an app or if you have a loyalty scheme, your guest history will be likely up to date. You will know that I've been with you many times before. Did you have something from the minibar on checkout? Well, if I did, charge me. If I didn't, don't, or I will complain afterwards. I mean, all those things can be done away with, in my opinion, and free up the receptionist and turn that person into a host and a hostess that can really care, because he or she does not have to worry about the cash up, because that's what I found. I was worrying more about my cash up than about the guest at sometimes, because it was just stressing me. So I 100% agree that it needs to be focused. It needs to be used as an assistance rather than a threat to jobs, and needs to enhance the industry. I want to come back to the industry at large and maybe look at the crystal ball. How do you think? And that's a curveball, I didn't ask you that before. How do you think it will develop? Where will it go? Because we are kind of, not really at a crossroads, but some people are saying after the pandemic everything will change, other people saying it will remain the same. What will change in your opinion?
That's a very hard changing crystal ball at the moment, because I think the pandemic is not the only aspect we need to look at. I think we need to look at the global energy crisis, especially in Europe, which we're somehow facing. I think, and now I'm looking actually at Europe, not at Africa. So I think to be realistic, I guess there will be a few more hard years coming up. And I think this also brings us down to what is really needed and what we value. That's the personal relationship that's a real conversation. This is face-to-face meeting people in person. And I think in the industry now what we see is that we have real luxury and we have the basics. So what I'm somehow missing is this middle class hotels. So I think this is, and of course this is something what I also personally prefer. So I prefer either sleeping at a hut in the mountains or in a luxury hotel. So, but I'm not sure if this is something what is good for the whole industry in general. But I think this will keep on for a few years, and I'm optimistic that in scope of 5 to 10 years this will level out again, and we will come back to more basic values which are relevant in the end.
So you mean like a re-emergence of the family hotel in a way? I mean, because Austria, Germany, Central Europe has been famous for that middle layer that was there, which was the family-run hotels that were, we would today say 3-4 star grading, mid-scale or what have you, but not a, and there's no offense to any of the brands of course, but not the machine-like same, but you know, where again personalities play there, where the owner comes in, the owner's family is involved and whatever. You think that might come back?
Exactly. This is what we all ask for. We ask for attention, we ask for leadership. And if I come to a hotel and the real person which has a belonging and a relation to the hotel is welcoming me. So I guess this is coming back, all this real investments, and this is also what we are working on creating relations, on guest experiences. And also, of course, you can create it, or you can find and develop systems how you can involve your employees and give them also real connection to your hotel, because then they treat your guests as their guests and not only of the guests of any luxury brand. I think this is something what the brands and the hotel chains can learn from small family-run hotels. We all ask for belonging and for connection, and not to be a number.
I think it's great, and I would love to see that, and I think it's something which has been there before. It kind of fell a bit by the wayside, but it would be fantastic to have that. What also would be fantastic is to keep on talking, but unfortunately time has run out. Thank you so much, Christine Friedreich. Thanks for being part of PKF Hospitality in conversation with. Looking forward to seeing you again, maybe in Cape Town.
Hopefully.
Maybe some more in Vienna. I'll be back in November, I believe, when we have got our forum, and we'll probably see you there. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks so much for hosting me here. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.